All right, welcome back for our closing bout of this evening for week three. And we got a good one here. We got two of our long-standing players with a lot of experience and victories uh, in our league here. We got Jeremy E. Lurgoy up against Caleb, who is our, I always call him the feature match goat, looking for, I think, yeah, looking for yet another feature match victory in his already stellar record. And before we talk a bit about his hand, I will say that these players have agreed to not play with any rares or mythics in their deck. So it is not a duel. They have both played both of their two possible duels. They're just doing this for the fun of it, and I guess for a bit of our entertainment too, to see some potentially lower power magic here. So no rares, no mythics, not a duel. $100 not at stake. Let's see what's Caleb up to over there.
Honestly, I'm on board for this tip. It's a great deck building exercise, and I do love my deck building activities. But Caleb
Cool.
really has everything he needs right here. He has the green, the blue, and the white with another island in hand, two gem lights foots, and
Okay.
a lassoed by the law as a removal, and a
Nice.
wow, another burrow fiend drawn for turn. What's
Dang.
the Lord Boy rocking with?
So he did have to mulligan here. He has a bit of a land heavy hand. He has a desert zoo here to pick something off. He could get up to -4 on something. He has an ambush gigapede, and the rest are some very pretty swamps here. Some very pretty full art swamps.
Yeah, I mean the Gigapede can always pinch off the other 3-1, and eventually, this 3-3 is going to be big enough to just block. So Caleb's going to have to think if he wants to lasso by the law it.
Yeah, Jeremy needs to draw something and quick here. And a fourth swamp is not gonna do it.
Okay, I
So
was curious if he might get a little aggressive here. I guess not.
well, he wants to represent a block here with the activation of Blood Hustler. But
Okay, let's just take that off the table.
yeah, attack for 6. And I mean, if Jeremy doesn't draw something to do this turn, I don't think the Gigapede can save him too much because he can't kill the flyer with the Gigapede no matter what he does.
No, and he's what 2 mana away from it.
And now he's got a Skullduggery, which normally you would say, "Oh, I got a spell that gives my opponent's creature -1/-1, and I got a 3/1 attacking me." Skullduggery has a little caveat, which is that you
You
must
need a target.
actually control a creature. Yeah, it requires two targets. There was a
Now,
card similar in Kaladesh, which for 1 and a black you could put a +1 counter on a creature, and or give a creature -1/-1. So you could just fire that off without a creature on your side, but Skullduggery not so much.
interesting enough, Caleb drew take up the shield
Oh well.
for turn. He's thinking, do I just end his life?
I mean, we saw this exact same thing with York before with that snakeskin veil.
Yeah, I mean,
But
he's
it was
just
a bit
trying to figure
safer
out
there.
the
There was a lot less
stop.
open mana.
I feel like he was trying to find the stops, and I mean, like maybe like there's a mind game where he thinks, could Jeremy just be jamming the space button as quick as possible?
I mean, here's the thing: there's no board web coming. There's no like planeswalker coming, right? It's all commons and uncommons here.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
So we got
Um,
a 5 color brew here based in black and based in Jund, I guess. Jund seems to be a popular go to lately.
I mean, in order to splash, you got to start with that green, right? At least to reliably get the splash in there. Most people, unless you have like lands for days, green
Yeah,
is going to enable all that goodness.
well, I know that's what I'm doing, and I literally just 5 minutes before we started, I was building my no rares deck for the week with some assistance from some fine folks here.
I wish you
Giving me
luck
some
in that
tips.
arena. It seems Caleb is indeed white, blue, and green, and
Yeah,
that's it. That's kind of where it ends. I'm not sure if he's thinking about taking Doc out of the deck. It's pulled far to the side. Really, I mean, I guess because of the stip, it's fair to say there's not anything crazy impressive here, but for the uncommons, they are pretty impressive. The Griff, the two Stubborns, make your own luck, and even though it's not an uncommon, the 5/4 that gains 3 life is that's pretty impressive in my mind for a
Spawnlord
common.
Paladin. Yeah, we got a couple okay ones here. I see two Badlands Revival. I see Hollow Marauder, Betrayal at the Vault. We got some good stuff. He's got a Farika spawn, which was very good back in Theros. Yeah, he's got some interesting includes here. Not sure about the Lazav and the Journey to Nowhere on the splashes, but look, we're here. We're here for the entertainment, and he is taking out the Lazav here. Maybe a little bit too
Not
greedy
so
for my blood.
much. Journey, I guess, if he doesn't have much removal, just sliding in a bit more. You got to do what you got to do, right?
Lazav to me is a card you want to land on turn 3 and then just get going on it. It's not amazing on a splash late game. You may not have crime triggers left. If you play it on turn 3, you're always going to be able to grow it by 1 or 2 in the next like 3-4 turns, like guaranteed. It's growing. But when you draw when you're waiting to draw that blue source and you don't have it, you know, dropping down a Lazav late in the game might not do too much. Way more functional hand here for Jeremy. Less less lopsided towards lands. What's Caleb got there, or is he deciding to mulligan? Or
Yeah, well, he's still thinking about it. So he has
yeah,
two forests, the plains, but then there's pretty much two drops. One of them is the Skyclave Cleric, so it can be played as a land, and
oh
then a
yeah,
Rambling Possum. But he has Plan the Heist, but with no blue mana. The question is do you draw into the blue? Is this pretty much going to be like a mull of 6 for quite some time? How far can these cards get you? Caleb's going to say, hey, you know what? Maybe this 3-1 can find me it. And it doesn't matter. He draws Island for turn. What's Jeremy working with?
perfect. He's got a Beast Bond Outcaster that he's going to be putting on plot here. He's got Spinewood's Paladin, Skullduggery, Badlands Revival, and 2 more of those pretty swamps that we saw way too many of last game. And he's drawn a Soul Reaper of Mogis for turn. You fan of that one?
Why does that sound familiar? Is that the red card
It's a
from
black
Theros?
card. It's a
The
3
black
mana
card.
2/3 black creature. You can pay 3 mana, sack a creature, and draw a card.
That sounds about right to me.
I believe
He
it's
was
3
decent
mana
for his time,
sacking.
wasn't he? Like, nothing crazy.
No, it's yeah, it's just 3 mana, sack a creature, draw a card. Of note, it can sack itself if it gets targeted. So that's something that these creatures don't always offer. But it is looking a little small here in the face of what Caleb's doing.
Oof. Another land right at the bottom.
But the Skullduggery should be useful here in the coming turn.
Yeah, how like down won't take too much more damage. Maybe if anything, he just plays a creature and just holds it.
Yeah, I,
Or
this
maybe he
is
goes for the world where he plots the paladin. It's a little
yeah.
greedier. But I mean,
I
you're only taking 6. You're going to develop 2 creatures, gain 3 life. So it's
yeah,
like you're only taking 3.
yeah. This is where I end up playing safe and probably not doing the right thing, which is just leave out mana here
Well,
and
it's still
then
early enough in the game where like taking 6 more doesn't really matter. You're
yeah.
not in death range, and you're gaining 3
Not yet.
back from one of these creatures anyway.
Yeah, and you draw the card, and his other land is a tap land, so it's not guaranteed that he would get to hard cast the paladin next turn if he decided to pass. So look, Jeremy Jeremy knows what he's doing. He's one of our most experienced players. We'll say that.
Play it
he,
fine. I mean, Jeremy gets so much value off this.
I will say, I like Jeremy. He's a nice guy, but kind of like how John P. always says Ryan is his nemesis. If you look at the league records, I think Jeremy's my nemesis. All right.
Oh, he's got one over on you.
I'm 3-9 versus him lifetime. So even like the leagues where I'm doing great and like on the way to top 8, I'll still play him and he'll still smash me up. Like even in the leagues where I'm doing great, he'll still just beat my face in. So that's closest thing to a nemesis, I would say, as far as someone who has my number in league matches. So if ever I get paired against him, I instantly groan.
I mean, I gotta say that sequence it was beautiful. You know, it's like he only took 3 damage last turn. He's got a board full of creatures. We know he has Skullduggery in
Yeah, he
hand.
did the
Then he
thing.
drew a whole new card. So I mean, like Caleb's not really interacting a whole bunch here. Like it's
Yeah.
really just he drew a Patient Actress for turn, still has the Cleric, 2 lands, and then planned the
So
heist.
so he is leaving up here the Skullduggery rather than play the Forsaken Miner. That Forsaken Miner has just been a card that has not impressed me at all. The decks that want to commit
I
crimes can't really are usually trying to go a bit late in the game, and a 2/2 that can't block is not helpful to their cause.
So with the way this game is currently playing out, if there's no way Caleb can kind of break this board for kind of what it is, it's super slow. It's very clunky, but I mean, you can always Mogus the Forsaken Miner.
Yep, exactly,
Uh,
and then get it back for
give
free
it
later.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I see it. I see it. I just, yeah, the card looked like it was probably going to be good. I think it ended up being a bit worse than it looked.
I think just 2/2 just isn't really a great stat, right? It's like kind of the issue with the Peddler in red. Like, it's cool, but you have the 3/1 that just swings with first strike. It's getting in for an extra damage. And then a lot of creatures have 3 butts. So, I mean,
Well,
after a turn, it doesn't do anything else.
I think comparing common two drops to trained Arynx is not very fair because
It's a common 2 drop.
trained Arynx is just the power level is just so high for a common. Like 3 power first strike for 2 mana, like we don't get that. Like ever.
Not normally, but I mean, like, I was comparing commons in all the colors, and I believe only 2 colors have 3 2 drops. The other colors only have two
There's
drops,
like
which is
yeah,
insane.
there's like 2 cards in my pauper cube can that can be 3 power first strikers for 2 mana, and that's like in all of Magic's commons. So I will say the trained Arynx is going to make its way in once I get my hands on one.
I
Yes,
mean, if you play it
skullduggery
white,
here. Skullduggery here, very very nice. And
ooh,
he says, you know what? I'm not too worried about this possum.
okay.
Interesting. He was thinking about doing a bit of a double or triple block earlier. Double block wouldn't make any sense, but triple block would. But he said, I'm feeling okay about my spot here. Here comes a 1/3, not very impactful here.
So we know he has Forsaken Miner. What else?
Badlands Revival he's had since the beginning.
Yuck.
And Silver Deputy drawn here.
There's
So
not a
this
whole lot of use, but you did say he's playing 5 colors, right? Like, it's a pretty fun brew over
I'm
there.
surprised he didn't just try and like trade off the Paladin for the Possum with the Badlands Revival in hand. Like, I'm surprised he didn't just say, "Okay, I'll trade off the Paladin. I'll I'll get it back into play, and then I'll get back my Beast Spawn to hand to draw a card next turn." Everything sounds good with that, but he took 4 rather than doing that,
Hmm. Well, he'll
and then
now
and
has a
then didn't
Paladin in
attack.
mode.
So he didn't block, didn't attack. Not sure what's going on with the Paladin here, but
Well, I guess he wants to
we'll
save
see.
it back to block the possum.
Well, he didn't block it last turn, right? That's why I was curious.
That's a fair point. I was so focused on the other one, I didn't pay attention to the
Yeah,
possum even swinging.
I figured it's an easy block because you have Badlands in hand, but
If he blocks this turn, I'd be interested. Like, I wonder if he was waiting for a certain card or something.
I'm not sure. He's had the Badlands the whole game, so this is information that he has. He's sort of planning something here. I guess he's playing around a snakeskin veil exactly. Okay.
Oh, here comes the other paladin on the other side.
Boom.
Just paladin gamers. Caleb's still
All
pretty
right.
healthy here, though.
Yeah, we got a Journey to Nowhere drawn here, so that if he doesn't want to deal with the 5/4, he can just get that out of his life, and he'll have. I mean, he'll be able to attack for 9 if he wants.
I think swinging for 9 with 3 coming back on your side. I think it's a deal I would take with the life totals being the way they are.
The math does math in this case,
And math is to me. Then you can buy back the Forsaken Miner for free if you want. There's nothing better.
and he'll still have 2 mana to cast the Silver Deputy just to put another body out there.
Oh yeah, I like this turn. This turn's solid.
Yep. Yeah, I think the other way was play Badlands Revival, but I think you want to get back something of higher value with the Badlands Revival. So he is going to get a Crime Land here just to get more triggers on his Blood Hustler. It will mean that he won't be able to cast his Ambush Gigapede next turn, but I think it's an okay trade-off to get a counter guaranteed
Let's see.
on the Blood
4. Do you know
Hustler.
how much Plan the Heist costs to plot? Is it 4 or 3?
It's 3 and 1 blue.
Yes, it is 4. So 4 silver or 3 plot. Okay.
Yeah, so plan the
So,
heist. I have splashed before in green decks, just for the like I'm always plotting it because it's hard to cast for its normal cost. So I have splashed that as a late game refill your hand, similar to make your own luck. They kind of play in the same space as far as being splashed.
I mean,
All
it's not
right.
bad draws off the top. So, it's, of course, see the Griff, the Snakeskin, and then
I mean,
the Gem Lightfoot.
I feel like
So,
Jeremy. I was gonna say I feel
like,
like this is the turn where he starts pressing the issue here.
oh, 100%.
Because if that congregation Griff, if he gets even one other mount and starts swinging with that, it's going to be hard. He needs
Not
to
bad.
put in the pressure here. And Caleb says let's trade, and Jeremy says sounds good to me. I got my Badlands revival.
Oh yeah, that just sounds so brutal.
I'll trade with you all day, every day. Thank you very much. Let me rebuy that. Get back my card draw into hand,
So
and he has a Gigapede too. So
okay. Oh my gosh, it's just disgusting.
looking good. I mean, this is the power of commons and uncommons. But a lot of these like graveyard loopy stuff, it can just be found at uncommon in the set.
If I think about it, back for more, it's an uncommon. I don't
Yeah,
think it's rare.
Rutstein as well. Yeah, Mourner surprise at common. Like, there's just so many options available.
I guess your cheapest would be reanimate at the mythic on the prosperity
Yeah,
sheet.
yeah. I believe no, but I do believe back for more is an uncommon. So I believe you can run it this week if you have access to it. All right, so in comes the attacks. He says, "Look, I'm still ahead. Fight me." So he could kill off this. I was gonna say he could kill off the beaver with ambush gigapede, but Caleb has wisely put two bodies there, especially being at 6 with trample.
It's a little unfortunate. He did have a snake skin in hand, but there's just no excess mana here.
Okay, so interesting blocks here. So no way he can. Uh, no, he can't. He can't save this paladin. The paladin's dying no matter what. He could ambush Gigapede on the Gem Lightfoot. That's probably his best move here.
I'm into it. I'm into it. Natural doesn't do anything at this stage in the game.
And he still has another Blood Hustler left in hand, even, as well as the Outcaster that we could see. And if Caleb doesn't find anything, I think he's going to be packing it in shortly.
He's thinking of throwing out the white flag. I mean, really, he has Burrow Fiend, and so yeah, we're just gonna throw it
That'll
out.
happen. Yeah, so really fun here. Look, I'm glad these players did it for no actual gain other than our entertainment and their enjoyment of playing these decks without the rares. I mean, they had the decks lying around. They played their duels, so they obviously the decks were already built, and now we get to enjoy some rareless magic.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think this tip came at just the right time because I like the other two stipulations were a little oppressive. I found as far as what it was asking
The,
with your deck.
what was the one? Pet Life, and I forget what was last week's.
It was the Vader.
Yeah, yeah, 4 different land or 4 different types of mana.
Yeah, like those were never a consideration. But like I said, this week, I just built. I literally just built my deck, so I'm ready to roll into some duels in the coming days here.
All right, speaking of sideboarding, Caleb decided that his deck is good enough. That was just variance. He will get him in the third half.
Jeremy is just admiring his deck here and allowing me to admire it. I
Fair.
can't I can't talk about all the bomb rares in the deck, but
You're not taking you through the museum of rares and mythics that he can't play.
no, I'm just seeing some fun stuff here. I mean, it looks like he just removed them from his sideboard completely, so he couldn't accidentally side them in because I don't see any in his sideboard whatsoever.
Honestly, it's really smart because sometimes muscle memory just takes over, and it's like, well, let me just get these cards in real quick.
Yeah, you're like, they played two mystical tethers, pest infestation. What are you doing in the sideboard? Get in here.
Not to mention some of the prosperity cards, like Well, I don't think it's hard to tell an uncommon from a gold or a mythic. But I find myself sometimes in paper, I'll look at like certain like golds or certain mythics, and I'll be like, is that rare or is that mythic? I'm not 100% sure.
They're trying to confuse you. It's not. It's
It's
not
only on
you.
the prosperity sheet.
It's not you. It's them.
That's the way I like to believe it. I'm never the problem.
There
100%
you go.
wizard.
You sure about that? You sure about
Oh
that?
boy. Oh boy.
Seems the peanut gallery has come to play.
All right. Let's keep that to a minimum for our recorded matches. But
So I think there's sideboard. Is there any stip that you're like really like outside of this week's? Is there another stip you're looking
well,
to dig your hands into?
I don't recall them all. There's Brawl. There's what else? I know there's Brawl, which I don't think I'm interested, because some of the commanders are just going to be oppressive.
Honestly, I'm drawing a blank myself for the last one.
I don't remember what the other ones are. I really like I saw stip matches. I was just like, nah, count me out. And then
So
this one,
let's say
this
you could
this, this
create a
one, I'm
stip.
coming around to.
What if you could create a stip? What would you do?
I don't.
What would your stipulation be?
You have to play two colors.
Oh, that's not spicy enough. I thought you said every card would be replaced with Cloud Blazer.
You're only allowed to play two colors in your deck. You can only play cards that are colorless or of two colors. So it's like you choose your two colors. You can play gold cards in that color combo and monocolored cards in that. That's it.
So, question: how does a 60-card Cloud Blazer versus Cloud Blazer matchup go? Like, it's the only card in your deck outside of lands.
Well,
Is there any strategy to win this?
Well, I think one time Damien said, "What would happen if we put a deck of only lands and Cloud Blazers versus a deck of only lands and Turn Timber Ascetics?" And I think the Turn Timber Ascetics would win easily, unfortunately.
Consensus we came to, but it seems we don't have to debate it anymore. Our players are ready.
Yeah. There was a stip we had back in the Plane Chase League of you could only have basics of one color. So if you were playing cards that were not of that color, they would have to be from non-basic sources. And I found that to be interesting at least. That was I think that was the stip I enjoyed the most in that league.
I think I was dead at that time. Oh, Jeremy's on a mulligan. Well, that's not terrible. I thought it was 5. 6 isn't the worst on the play. Caleb's working with the Lonely Arroyo.
Okay.
What do you call this? The Mirage Mesa, a
Okay.
forest and an island, and then your favorite card of the format,
Go
Tumbleweed
on.
Rising,
Oh.
and then the Possum and a Paladin with the planes drawn for turn. What's Jeremy got after them all?
Yeah. He's got the double Blood Hustler here, so that might do a lot of work here. Also, just a Conduit Pylons as his other land. Betrayal at the Vault, Honest Rutstein, and Desert Dew. Yeah, I've said my piece about Tumbleweed Rising. I see it played often enough that I can't bring myself to say it's a bad card. It can't be bad. I just don't like the play pattern of it.
Oh, it's fair. I'm trying to
I
think how
just see
much.
it so often, and it's so often like it does have a good impact on the game. I just don't like the downside of it, so I don't end up running it. But it's not one of those cards that I could just say is straight up bad, like
I think
some
his
other
win rate is
cards in the
just being
past.
brought up just because Green's win rate is high. Like in
Yeah,
formats, there's always stinkers, but like it should be lower on the win rate charts, but it just does better just because of how the format and that color are working inside of its format.
yeah. There are other cards from past formats that people played all the time that I still would swear to this day are just bad. Looking at you, Mr. Mask Maker. But look, Tumbleweed Rising. I started off low on it. I still don't like it, but I know it's not bad. I see it do good things. I can't, in good conscience, say it's unplayable. I just don't care for it. Yeah,
Well,
so
I believe we're gonna
we got
flip
a
these this year.
Outcaster Greenblade coming down next turn, which is gonna get him another green source to potentially play Betrayal at the Vault at some point in the game.
That's going to be one big green caster. 2, 3, 4. It's going to be a 4, 5, potentially 5, 6.
No, it's a 5/6 on board. Oh no, it's a two. No, it's a 4/5, but will be a 5/6 most likely
Yes.
because
My math doesn't
it'll get him
always
a
math.
green source. All right, so Caleb's sort of chugging along here. Actually, milling was
That
that
is
a take up the
a
shield and
big
a snake
threat.
skin?
Yes, it
I
was. And
I
it's
think
growth in the saddle.
I mean, against this like removal heavy deck, I mean, like I think those are like his keys to victory, right? Like his creatures are sort of, I mean, like they're big, but they're just sort of big bodies at the end of the day, and the whole strength of that is backed up by those protection spells. And Jeremy just saw two of them go in the graveyard, so he must be pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, at first Caleb might think like my board looks great. You know, what could he possibly do? This Green Blade is what he could do.
But like the turn five of like playing a Spinewoods Paladin and making a 5/5, which is like a line that I see often on the other side. I'm just like, yeah, winning this game is going to be real tough. But I just know every time that I have Tumbleweed Rising in my deck, if I put it in my deck, which I haven't yet, I'm just going to be sitting there with a 2/2 and being like, uh.
In most cases, normally it's really good. It just so happens that Caleb has zero interaction for any of this right now.
And then I'll play my 4/4, and then I'll cast my Tumbleweed Rising off of plot for 0, and then opponent will just like kill my 4/4 or something. I'll just be like, why did I put this card in my deck? But when it's good, it's real good. So
Well,
nice card draw here for Caleb. I mean,
does Jeremy have any removal in hand? Because there's a
yeah,
grip. Oh,
he's got Desert's Due, which is basically murder at this point.
yes. It's 4/5, neg 5. That's a lot.
-6 by my count, right?
You know, I forgot it gets 2. You were absolutely correct.
Yeah, it's runs C2, and then it's plus for all the deserts. He's also got a Varmint in hand, if one of those, what we call O-ring effects ever comes down for Caleb, which if he's playing white, I assume they're somewhere there.
Yeah.
And now a Forest means Betrayal at the Vault is live here. And Caleb's tapped out. This might be the time to wipe out the 5/4 and the 5/5. We'll see. We'll see what Jeremy decides to do.
I would also think so. I mean, it just lines up some pretty good swings here.
It kills the two biggest creatures. It puts a counter on each of the Blood Hustlers, and he doesn't have to worry about any of the tricksy stuff that Green White can do to protect. And he's come to the same conclusion as me. Except he is going to target the Griff here. He just doesn't like the potential of it gaining lots of life.
Now, the other question is, does he swing here is the question. I almost feel like no.
He's thinking about it. He says, "Okay, oh, yeah. I don't know if this is my favorite attack here.
Yeah, this is not the block he wanted to get.
I mean, yeah, he has a Rutstein here, but I mean, he did work growing that Blood Hustler. Like he cultivated it, he grew it, and now just died.
It's interesting. Has
He went on
Jeremy
he,
played
he
a
went on
single flyer?
vacation. He went on vacation, and nobody came over to water his plant, so he died.
It happens sometimes. Has Jeremy played a flyer in game 1 or game 2? I don't remember seeing one.
Did Jeremy play any flyer? I mean, he's not in the flying colors. He's just playing black green.
Yeah,
So
I wonder if Caleb's attacking this for a certain reason, but he just drew Broken Wings.
huh? Did we see any artifacts or enchantments that were particularly juicy here?
I can't think of it, and Caleb hasn't really. I didn't see him put it in. Maybe it's one of those cards that got put in the deck and never got taken out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I was very close to running a disenchant in my stip deck, in my no rares deck. I was very close to just main decking it. I've seen people main deck effects like that in this set, like ones from out of set, that just say like destroy an artifact or enchantment or maybe do something else. And I've seen that like it's kind of always had targets, so I was very close to main decking it. In the
I think
stip
I agree.
match.
Keep it on the sideboard, like that white card that you can choose the modes, artifact, enchantment, or put +1s on target
Oh yeah,
players.
that one is good. That one is really
Yeah.
nice.
I would just mainboard that one, but if it just strictly says destroy one
Yeah.
thing, unless I know I'm going to be running that one thing a lot, I'm probably not mainboarding it.
Yeah, as soon as I see my opponent playing a bunch of planes, I think I bring it. All right, so he's got a couple options here. He can cast his Rutstein, or rather, he's going to cast his Farika's Spawn, which was one of the best uncommons in the set back at Theros.
Now, is this the guy that makes people sack things when
Yeah.
sacking happens?
So it has Escape. So you can exile, I think, 4 cards from your graveyard and pay 6 mana. Comes back as a 5/6, and your opponent has to sack a creature. So it escapes with 2/1 counters, and your opponent sacks a creature when it comes in from escape. So Pretty
Jeremy
nice.
Ford
Like I
is
said, very, very good. Like one of the best uncommons in the set at that time. Um, you know, this is probably feels a bit more powered down. Feels does not feel as powerful as in the past, but still a good card. All right, the chump blocks have begun here. So Jeremy looks to have a pretty tight grasp on this game here, especially with the Snakeskin Veil in hand.
the Raven can chip from the skies here, along with the well, really that's pretty much 2 damage a turn,
Yeah,
along with the
he
Blood
is
Hustle.
limited. He is limited by black sources here. Like he can't activate Blood Hustler right now.
Yeah, Caleb's just kind of flooding out here. Another land drawn for turn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay, well I guess
there's
Broken Wings. Broken Wings had its target.
Jeremy's like, do I use the snakeskin veil on this stupid bird? And he says, no, thanks.
I'm gonna be honest. I almost completely forgot he had Broken Wings when Jeremy played the Flyer.
Well, it's good that you're not playing the match then. All right. So yeah, another nice one drawn here for turn. Spinewood's Paladin, just another big body. Yeah. Jeremy says, I'll keep trading. I got more stuff to do.
Yeah, with the
All right.
Spinewoods, like you don't even care about this dying, right? Not to mention you still have like Blood Hustler and Freaka. Like, oh,
He's
let's
doing
just
the
buy
red
it back,
team
huh?
thing. Get back. We need our power needs to be even more unlimited.
I guess I like this. I like this very much.
So in this case, he is not holding up his snakeskin veil, but he has so many threats here. I don't think he cares about any one of them dying.
No, Caleb's gonna
And
say shake my
Caleb
hand. He's a little
cannot
hard bristle
do a
bandit.
thing. So Caleb he's taking a bit of a beating this so far this league in the future matches. So we'll stay tuned and see how many people bet for him. But congratulations to Jeremy for taking this one down, and we'll see everybody back next week.